Hello and welcome. Cody Hammer here again with another SQL 2005/2008 video tutorial. Today I want to make a presentation on the subject of views when it comes to SQL 2005 and 2008. To get started, it's important to understand what a view is, and a view is a save select statement and queries that are stored in a database. We can think of views as virtual tables. And what that allows us to do is you can take particular query logic and save it as metadata so that other people can build queries off of that metadata. Another thing to keep in mind is when you do the create statement or the create view statement, you're not really making data. Instead, what's happening is it's creating metadata, which means adding objects to a database structure. And another thing to remember is once we create a view, we can treat that view as a table. To get started, I'll do a short demonstration here. I've got VMware running with Microsoft Server 2008. If I go down here to the bottom left-hand corner and click Start, we can open up the SQL Server Management Studio. And connect to our local server. My query button got kind of messed up here. Let's see if I can change that. Should be able to move that up somehow. There we go. Alright, once we're connected to the local database, we can expand the databases. And I have a database here called Feed and Seed. You can go ahead and take a look at this by expanding that. And if I expand my tables, I've got two tables here, the orders table and the persons table. I'm just going to do the persons table for this demonstration. I wish I had a better demonstration. I've been trying to get the AdventureWorks database in here that Microsoft provides to use as an example database. I've ran into a lot of issues with that. But anyways, we can work off of this one. So here I've got a person ID, a last name, a first name, a phone number, an address, and a city. Well, what if I wanted to create a view using this table to show certain aspects of this table? So to do that, we can expand our views folder, right click on that, and select new view. Now this is one way of doing it based off of the GUI interface. So if we select our persons table and then close this, we can now select whichever columns we want to make a query on. So I just want the last name, the first name, and let's do the city. Once we select the fields that we want, we can create a filter for the city, let's say, where the city is equal to, let's say, Miami. And then we can execute this. And from there we can see our select statement that I was talking about before, our T-SQL code. And we can see this right here, this table right here that shows everybody that lives within the city of Miami would be our view. It's just the underlying data from our original table, the persons table right here. That's one way of creating a view. The second way we can do this is by using the actual T-SQL code. We can create a new query by selecting new query button. And let's do a select first name, comma, last name, comma, and then the city from dbo.persons, where the city is equal to Miami. Now if we run this, okay, let's see, column name city, Let's do dbo.persons. Now this should work. There we go, and here's our view right here. This is not an actual table yet until we save this as a view. Another thing to keep in mind is I didn't save that last view that we did, but when you save that, if you expand the view folder and refresh it, it should show that there. It should give you the option of actually naming that view as well from the GUI database. The GUI tool rather. The thing to keep in mind here is when you create queries and reports, what a lot of people run into is this statement here, that where the city equals Miami. One problem with that is you need to keep in mind, are you going to actually remember that specific code that shows everybody that lives in Miami? You might say, yeah, you know, if I'm the programmer, I might remember that, but your end users might not. So in that case, what we can do is do a create view statement, and we can name this SQL view Miami persons. If we execute that, let's see. Oh, we need an add statement here. That's what I forgot to do. Oh, that should work. And another thing to keep in mind that I've talked about in my videos before is if you execute this again, it's already running. So you can't run the same thing twice unless you have a drop statement here. And then we should be able to execute this as many times as we want. And I'm not using the right code there, but anyways, that's how to create a view using the SQL code. Again, if we refresh this, we can now see the DBO SQL view Miami persons. And what's cool about this is if we open this by going to script view as, drop to new query editor window, now we can create even more views based on the view that we already made and the query that we already made. And that concludes my video on views. Again, a view is a way to select underlying data from an existing database object, such as a table. You can treat it as a table once the view has been saved. And it's a lot easier for the end users to make other queries based off of a view or a query that you already have. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.